Hey everyone, this is Paul Gale from PaulGaleNetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is August 5th, 2021, and these are the top stories of the day. So today is going to be all about video game sales. We're going to start off talking about Nintendo specifically, and then go over into our Famitsu data coming from the previous week in Japan. To kick things off though, it is a special day. Nintendo released late last night their last quarter financial results from April 1st until June 30th, 2021. They gave us an updated look at their hardware and software. We're first going to talk about hardware, which is right here. Nintendo Switch now at 89.04 million consoles sold worldwide through June 30th. Absolutely mind-boggling, very impressive. One of the fastest selling pieces of hardware in the video game industry of all time. Its sales trajectory is still really strong. This quarter specifically, and for that matter, the first half of this fiscal year is down from where it was last year in 2020 because, we did have Animal Crossing, which was very strong. We had the beginning of the pandemic in which consoles were just flying off the shelves. People at home, not as much to do, couldn't go as many places. So it was really a 1-2 punch of success for Nintendo, on top of having, truthfully, great software and an awesome system. But it definitely benefited in a spike thanks to Animal Crossing and, COVID, people not being able to leave as much. That being said, it's still really strong, down 10%, 17%, depending on what metric that you're comparing to from last year to this year. But just because Nintendo Switch is down doesn't mean that it's poor. It still managed to sell almost 4.5 million consoles within these last 3 months. And now, with it being at 89,040,000, it officially passes PlayStation 3 and its lifetime sales, as well as Xbox 360 and its lifetime sales. If you see here on Nintendo's own charts, comparing it to past hardware, it passed 3DS a long time ago, as we have covered on the channel before. It just absolutely blew past Wii U. Next up is Wii. Not quite 102 million. By the end of this year, Nintendo Switch will definitely hit 100 million. It actually will probably hit something in the neighborhood of 106 million or so, maybe even more. What will it be at? 110 million would be pretty ambitious. That's 21 million more in the next 6 months. I don't think we're going to quite get 110, but 106? That's possible. That's still 17. That's a lot, but it's definitely going to pass 102 by December 31st. We're going to have a new Nintendo console champion. And if you think of it only as a handheld, which it's not, it still has a way to go until it beats the main champ, DS, at 154 million, 20,000, or even the original Game Boy line, which included Game Boy and Game Boy Color, and that combined to 118,690,000. Game Boy Advance, Nintendo Switch already passed. It was 81.51. Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo 64, the Super Nintendo, the NES. Nintendo Switch has passed up all of them and is now the 7th highest selling console of all time. And with these numbers, with this new nearly 4.5 million, it actually brings Nintendo overall, of all consoles and handhelds sold over the 38-year history of looking at 1983 when Famicom first released in Japan to 2021, over 800 million. This isn't including, stuff like the NES Classic Edition, SNES Classic Edition, or when Nintendo releases a Mario Game & Watch, not that kind of thing, right? But just purely consoles, whether it's a handheld console or a home console or a hybrid console, 800 million. That's really impressive, That is 21.3 several million systems sold per year on average for 38 years. The next closest competitor is PlayStation with around 565 million consoles sold. And even if you say, well, Nintendo was around longer, that's why Nintendo's at 800 million and Sony's at, 565. You got to look at it like this. Well, okay, divide that 800 million divided by 38 years and take Sony's 565 and divide it by 27 years from when PlayStation first came out in Japan in 1994 to present day. Sony's ends up being like 20.9 something million. So 20.9ish to 21 point, several ish. Nintendo ends up still being the champ. Now both are neck and neck. Both are really high up there. I don't think anyone's ever going to top Nintendo's overall total because going forward, there would have to be too great of a difference in many years to have somebody surpass Nintendo's 800, before Nintendo would get up to that next level. So as long as Nintendo finds continued success, and if everything else is still successful, you're going to have all of these different platforms each selling 20 something million a year. But it's not like too many consecutive years are going to go by where Nintendo's selling 10 and someone else is selling 30 or 40 and just totally demolishing Nintendo's top end. I don't see that happening. Could the gap narrow? Possibly. But I think Nintendo's got a good future. I'm proud of them. I think the Nintendo Switch is a fantastic console, and as I had a lot of fun discussing last night with Nintendo Prime in his podcast, thank you again for having me as a guest on your show, I hope that Nintendo keeps this model going forward. I just want a more powerful Nintendo Switch to come out within the next year or two, and then eventually a Nintendo Switch 2, which is, fully revamped, a lot more power, can handle PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X games for the most part, just at a little bit lower level of fidelity, but having that experience on the go, that's the magic of Nintendo Switch. That's that breathtaking feeling. That's something that even if you get to a point where the Steam Deck is like, okay, playing it in handheld mode, buy some extra cables or have some extra cables that are capable of bringing it up to being able to be played on your TV or monitor. Still cool. Don't quite have the switching effect of the rail system that the Joy-Con bring, but also don't have, and no one will ever have, that Nintendo charm of Nintendo's own IP. Where Nintendo may struggle sometimes in not nailing all third-party games that they arguably should have, that would be totally domination right there. They're kings of the crop when it comes to software. You look at the top 50 best-selling games of all time, and many of them come from a variety of Nintendo's different consoles over the last close to 4 decades. So, yeah, I'll always be a Nintendo supporter because whether it's a high-selling system, poor-selling system, I always have fun with their consoles, and that includes handheld and TV, because of their games. Their games just never leave me behind in my mind. I'm always thinking of the next Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, Star Fox, Metroid. There's so many rich IP. So props to Nintendo on 89 million. I called it 89. Actually, I never called it quite 90. I said 89 is going to be safer, and sure enough, it just did it by 40,000. Okay, moving on. Pretty much equally exciting is software. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We're starting from the top on this one, as you can see. Sold another million plus copies in the last 3 months, now totaling 37,080,000 worldwide. When you combine this with the Mario Kart 8 SKU on Wii U, it's been a long time now that the pair has passed Mario Kart Wii. However, if you count single SKUs, which some people do, and to be fair, Mario Kart Wii was just on one system, Mario Kart 8 is on two. If you just look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe compared to Mario Kart Wii, even 8 Deluxe on its own is soon to pass Mario Kart Wii within the coming month, if it didn't happen already. At number 2 is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Just wonderful for a game that's only been out for 15 months. 33,890 copies sold worldwide. Beautiful number. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 24.77 million. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 23,220,000, not 220 necessarily, 23,200,000 copies sold worldwide. First time on a console where a Zelda game is selling more than the top selling Mario game. I love it. I love Mario and I love Zelda, but I'm glad that Zelda got so popular with this game, and I hope it really does the series well going forward, with Breath of the Wild 2 having some awesome numbers. Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, one of the best selling Pokemon games of all time, one of the best in many years. 21,850,000 copies sold. Super Mario Odyssey, 21,400,000 copies sold. The best selling 3D Mario game ever. Super Mario Party, 15,720,000. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, 13,570,000. Splatoon 2, 12,450,000. For a brand new IP that is in its second round, to have over 12 million and to still be selling well with the announcement of Splatoon 3 coming in 2022 is awesome. I want to see where does Splatoon 2 land in the end. Could it hit 15 million? That would be a little bit on the ambitious side, I would say, since we know that Splatoon 3 is coming out, but Splatoon 2 definitely could hit 15 million. Certainly not that far away. 2,550,000 copies? Maybe it's not that ambitious. Maybe it will happen. And coming in at number 10, this list really has to go deeper because, there are so many games on the system that have sold well past a million, Number 10 used to be New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Now it's Ring Fit Adventure with 11,260,000 copies sold. And, if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know that I love this game. I think Ring Fit Adventure is fantastic. It's really great, smart, lightweight exercise apparatus. It does the job, it gets you working, and it's just fun. It uses the Breath of the Wild engine. It looks beautiful, it plays well, it makes exercise quite enjoyable. Now, I like exercise. I'm an exercise guy, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a martial arts instructor, I'm a sensei. That's what I do outside of video games. But even I gotta say, trying to be objective, now I'm just having a good time working out and playing games, enjoying the cool world. So this is all really good news. Not here, but also what Nintendo announced in their presentation was that new Pokemon Snap has already sold 2 million copies, and that's really good. And that's not including Japan, where if you add that, it's 2.3 million or so. This is also good news because I think this game is on its way to passing the original Pokemon Snap on Nintendo 64, which sold north of 3 million worldwide. So all of Nintendo's franchises are doing well. Now is a time, like I said before, for Nintendo to release things from their past catalog that they haven't had in a while, like Kid Icarus. We know that Kirby's coming out. We know new Donkey Kong is probably coming out. Try harder with Star Fox. Bust out F-Zero. Fire Emblem, best-selling game in the franchise. Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which is a port of Pikmin 3, best-selling entry in the franchise. Let me see more Nintendo. Okay. Moving on into our weekly talk, which is the Famitsu sales. This occupies week 31 of 2021 from July 26th through August 1st. The Famitsu charts, as usual, I'm using Chris 1964's nice spread over at the resetera.com forum, so thank you for putting this together. At number 1 for the week, a bit of a disappointment in how high it debuted. I mean, I'm happy that it debuted at number 1, but it just didn't sell that well. Neo, The World Ends With You on Nintendo Switch only managed to sell 18,799 copies. If you look all the way down at number 10, Spoiler, we're going to get there eventually. 9,248 copies for the PlayStation 4 version. So Nintendo Switch, it sold double of its PS4 brother, but neither one did that well. Um, Gosh, I would like to say hopefully it had some strong digital sales, but even if it has strong digital sales, like it's not going to make up enough to really make it a substantial debut. Hopefully it has some longer legs. Hopefully in the West it makes up for kind of a lackluster performance in Japan. Number 2, though, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Not a bad drop, 56%. Ended up selling 18,000 for the week. Number 3, new entry, The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles for Nintendo Switch with 14,000. And number 4, Minecraft on Nintendo Switch with 13,000. Number 5, Crayon Shin-Chan with 12,000. Number 6, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with 12,000. Number 7, Ring Fit Adventure, 11,000. Number 8, Game Builder Garage with 9,800. And number 9, Monster Hunter Stories 2 with 9,500. And as I said, at 10 is the PS4 version of The World Ends With You with 9,200. I wanted to see The World Ends With You, Neo, on Nintendo Switch at much higher than 18. I didn't think that it was going to be 100 plus, but it would have been nice if it hit 50, and like the PS4 version maybe 25, right? That'd be half, but it didn't, and that's okay. Hopefully it's got some kind of legs or better performance in the West, like I said. Overall, quiet end in the charts regarding software, so let's go into hardware and check it out. Number 1 spot, as usual, Nintendo Switch with 62,000, down a little bit from last week, 69, down pretty considerably by 24,000 from last year at this point. That OLED model coming up, people are on the side of I could wait, or I still want my Switch now. You can see many are still buying the Switch, but quite a few I bet are willing to wait. So numbers are down right now, but I think that come October and into November, December, we're going to have a stronger last 3 months this year than we did last, especially with the software coming out in the fall. Looks promising, but we'll see. And number 2, PlayStation 5 with 22,641, a nice 4,000 bump from the previous week. Xbox Series at 1,800, more than a 2-time drop from last week's 4,600. PS4 with 1,200, a little bit down from last week's 1,600. 3DS at 358, a little down from last week's 491. It's just stores getting rid of units at this point. Overall, nothing too exciting in hardware or software. Today's video game news with Paul Gale Network discussion was primarily regarding Nintendo's quarter financial results and how awesome they did and how proud I am of Nintendo. Some people don't understand the drive or the desire of why are you happy? What makes you happy seeing a company's numbers? Folks becoming millionaires, billionaires. How does it affect you? Well, it doesn't affect me financially. I'm not getting some profit off of these games selling well, these pieces of hardware selling well, but I love Nintendo because they've been for me my whole life. I know many men and women there who work there. I appreciate their work. I am a fan of their voiceovers, their artistry, their writing. I'm happy that personal friends and those that I haven't even met are succeeding. So on that level, I'm happy. On another level, these games that mean so much to me, that are selling to so many people, mean that more people are enjoying what I love about Mario and Zelda and Nintendo controllers and Nintendo history. And that makes me pretty happy. That makes me smile, thinking, a lot of people are being touched positively in the world by so much of Nintendo's greatness. And that's a cool feeling. There's a lot of things in life to have fun over, whether it's nature, martial arts, exercise, comic books, movies, TV, other medium, reading books, getting educated in school. But video games is just one of my favorites. Growing up, toys, games, martial arts, squirt guns outside, swimming, snowboarding, boogie boarding, a lot of things. But Video games truly one of my life's longest run, most consistent, most joyous hobbies, and Nintendo has been responsible for so much of that. So when they're doing well, it makes me happy. And also, Nintendo's chest of cash is higher, which means that they could put in more work, better effort into keeping me happy by making more Mario games, better, more ambitious Zelda titles, being willing to take more chances and have bigger development teams and some longer cycles. And maybe, okay, we made so much on these games that we could take some of the franchises that are less popular and be okay that, hey, if it doesn't break even or if it barely breaks even, it's all right. We made a lot on these other titles. We're still succeeding as a company, and we made, at least a group of people happy. We tried. We brought back Ice Climbers, even though it didn't sell gangbusters. And, like Nintendo succeeding in such quantities helps bode for a positive future of Nintendo continuing to make awesome games. So there's a lot to it. It's like sports teams. Unless if you're on the team yourself or have a brother, sister, relative of some sort, best friend on the team, even if you went to that university, even if you live in that city, why are you happy that a sports team wins? You didn't play because you bond with the team. You bond with the players, the identity of the team, the city, the university, whatever, right? There's a connection to the logo, to the name, to the cheers, the chants. So people that don't get hardware sales, software sales, and why you'd be happy for something succeeding, but do get sports, think about what I just said. Brings more happiness to the world experiencing what you like. And by being successful, more likely to continue making successful products in the future. All right, that's a little bit of a, well, I don't want to say a rant, but a little bit of a deeper discussion into some of my own thoughts on why I find sales data so intriguing. All right, everyone, this is Paul Gale Network signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a good time. I did, as always, talking about sales. Take it easy, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.